Yeah, we live. We
Welcome
live.
back, chat. Welcome back, chat.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
yeah, we're back again. We're back again.
How's it going, Brother Glody?
Yeah, oh good.
Yeah,
Everything is
man.
going smooth. Yeah,
Yeah. It's all about decoding the matrix right here.
yeah,
Well, chat, in episode 2, we talked about Zion, the so called real world. But even in that world, the questions don't stop.
yeah.
But tonight, we dive into one of the most mysterious characters in the Matrix, the Oracle.
Hmm.
What does she represent really? Are we really making choices? Or our paths already just set? Let's explore today on the concept of the Oracle. Who is the Oracle exactly?
Well, uh, this is as you know, as we all know, the Matrix is one of the biggest um controversial movie out there, and we wouldn't take all the character for granted. All the character represent something. Each and every character in the movie The Matrix represent every or each aspect of our lives. So it is important, that when we are in such settings, in such live uh, settings, it's very important to pay attention that this is not just a live stream. This is not just some kind of, entertainment, but it's knowledge that is required, that is priceless. So paying attention is the most important thing that you can do during this whole session. But for that, besides that, thank you so much for joining us. And we're excited to kick it in. As Brother Tony gave you guys a little bit of the intro of what we're going to discuss today, we are more focusing on today we're focusing on the oracle, which is one of the character in the movie The Matrix that represent very, very important aspect of our lives, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as in the movie there, in the Matrix, the Oracle appears as a kind, ordinary woman just baking cookies.
Yeah,
Not what you'd expect from a powerful guide, as we all should have expected.
yeah, yeah. Actually, she, um, her role is uh, one of the amazing role actually, and most people don't actually pay attention to her role in the movie. So I wanna try to give it, trying to get us into this journey a little bit, you know, to understand what is and who is the oracle and what she represent and how we can correlate some of her aspect to our daily life and how we can transform you know through the wisdom and tips that are given by the oracle in the matrix, in the movie The Matrix, right? So with that being said, so the oracle, you know in the movie The Matrix, you know it's kind of like a program, but not just any kind of program, you know, but she was designed to understand human psychology and help create balance between choice and control. That is in the movie. I mean, in the Matrix, in the Matrix simulation in the movie. All right.
Absolutely.
So the interesting fact is that the oracle was created to understand choice, what makes human, do what they do, you know. And
Mm,
secondly, she's considered as the kind of like the mother figure, you know,
absolutely.
the mother figure in a sense of in a sense of you know uh, um the archetype of kind of like, if I may say, she's like,
Because right there, it's kind of like she represents intuition, inner knowing.
yeah,
Because mostly in the moving, her depiction as being like on higher wisdom oriented, unlike Morpheus, who represents faith. But the oracle represents insight,
yeah,
as what I can entail on that. Yes, brother Goldie.
yes, yeah, yeah, of course, that's accurate, you know. She most of the time she speaks in riddles, she's not direct, she doesn't speak direct, you
And
know.
her name alone, oracle, is not a nod to ancient spiritual guides or priests who offend cryptic wisdom from the divine.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
you're trying to say, right?
yeah, because she if you remember them in a movie in the Matrix, she was the one that's speaking to Neo in terms of she was the one that letting Neo know, or kind of like not letting him know, but pushing him to towards the truth that Neo knows already. So that was the most important role um of the Oracle. She was not designed to give you the answer directly, but to guide you towards what you already know.
Oh yeah, oh really? And if I can reflect on that one, a quick one is that the oracle doesn't tell you what to believe.
Yeah,
She helps you find what you already know deep down,
exactly,
deep down,
exactly.
deep
Hundred
down.
percent, 100%.
Okay, yeah, this is deep, man.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah, this is deep.
100%. And then in esoteric and symbology, if we can interpret it in that way, you know, on a symbolic level, the oracle represents the inner voice, the higher self, or even the divine feminine wisdom, because she's the archetype of the seer, the prophetess, kind of like, to prophesy, and the mother intuition, you know. So just to break it down, before we move on to the next scene, um, we can see that the oracle is kind of like equals to intuition. She never gives direct answer, as we just emphasized now. You know,
Oh yeah.
she just like, our intuition. When you hear that voice deep down in you, that actually that resonate with that particular situation, that's your intuition. But your logical mind will try to override and, kind of like, stick with the logical side, which is mostly programmed. You know,
And that
so yeah, yeah, yeah,
just like mostly in our lives, it kind of like relate to most cases, as in people they don't like to listen to that to their instincts, their inner intuition, their inner insight,
yeah,
their inner voice. That one deep down the from the subconscious mind. They don't want to listen to that, and they always cling to logic. And as we all know, as we discussed from the previous episodes, that logic is mostly the programmed oriented output. Am
yeah.
I correct, Blizzard Glody?
Of course, of course, of
Most of the
course.
logics are
Yeah,
the products of the matrix
exactly,
manufacturing.
exactly. Because the thing is, what you think is true, what you think you believe in, it's not your actual
It's
truth.
because you've been told to believe that that's the
Exactly.
truth.
You've been programmed to believe that subconsciously.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the same thing if you're born in a motherfucking society they eat snails. You'll be eating snails and think
Yeah, yeah,
this is a cool snack right here. And
yeah.
then you go
You
to other society, like, they'll be like, "Who this motherfucker eating snails and shit like that?" So it's kind of like applies that way.
yeah, yeah, of course, because you think the truth is the truth, but it's actually just something that you've been told and you never knew how, but you just believed it because you saw somebody else doing it and it appears to be the correct way to do it. And you feel like, okay, that's the only way that we can do that particular thing. And you tend to not even question because it's already set in your brain, I mean, in your subconscious level, that this is the only way it is done. So there's no question, no remarks, no analytics, nothing. You just go on autopilot, and that is what we call, you know, being programmed and being in the matrix. You know, so
Talk to me, brother Glody. Talk to me. I mean, like, there's this case of fate versus free will.
mm,
Fate versus free will. We can see in the Matrix right here, like the famous moment when she tells Neo,
mm,
"You are not the one. Sorry, kid." But later we realized that she she said that because he wasn't ready to believe it yet at that moment. The belief had to come from inside him. That marks a very important turning point, brother Glody. This is the big one. She
yeah,
said that because he wasn't ready to believe it yet.
mm,
The belief had to come from inside him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, that is that is
Mm.
very deep. Because sometimes we have to this actually teaching us, sometimes we have to let go of needing to be, you know the special one, to actually, and pushes us to a direction when we can now, or we have to discover our own power in our own ways, you know
Mm.
so that is it, it was a very striking moment for Neo, and it was like, okay, because that's the actual role of the oracle. She's there to give you things to think about, just to
Absolute.
give you that nudge, and to be like, hey, this is what it is, and you go along with that, you know so this also brings us to a very important point, very important aspect of the oracle character in the movie. So um
But this one raises the question:
yeah.
is our path already set, or are we creating it as we go?
Well, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. I don't know, in the chat, anybody in the chat, you can answer that question
Mm.
in your own way, because we're here to interact. We're here to share what we know. So as we going along, so it's very important that if anybody's in the chat, feel free to answer this question and give an insight on your own. With that being said, this is what I can say. Our lives are in some way are preset matrix. Then we now find ourselves in a position of being following a script. Our lives has been already preset by the matrix, because we're just following a direction that has been created by the program. you know so
Absolute.
if we want to live by choice, or if we want to create what we actually want to create, we have to live consciously, and that's the part of oracle. That was her job, to show Neo, and also in our life, to correlate it in our lives. The oracle was there to show us that we in order for us to not uh, be shocked in life most of the time, and not be ready for what life has would throw at us, is that the only way to escape that is to be conscious, to create life consciously. And how do you do that? That is a very good answer. That's a very good question. So
Because in real life, we often face the same confusion.
yeah,
Did this happen for a reason, or did I choose it? But esoterically, this is about aligning your will with your purpose.
yes,
So if I may say, because the oracle nudges Neo in that direction too.
yeah,
We
yeah,
saw in the movie right there, but
yeah.
never forces him.
Of course,
Yeah, the oracle nudges Neo in that direction, but never forces him. Her
that's
method reflects on how inner guidance works.
yeah, of course.
Quiet,
Mm,
subtle, and powerful.
yeah.
Because you've already made the choice. You are here to understand why you made it.
Mm. Red
Because
and blue
in our
pill.
life, there's so many instances, and I've been to, I mean, a number of those instances whereby, like, you make a choice, a tough one, so I can say, a tough one to an ordinary mind, but not tough one to those that crack the code of the matrix. But anyways, there are those choices that appear to be kind of like tough to make, but you've already made the choice. You are at that point where you've already made the choice.
Mm,
But hey, guess what? You are here to understand as to why you made it in the first place. And that's where the real and the true turning point comes into play.
mm.
Yeah, there are many cases, brother Glody. We can even relate, and the chat can relate to this one, whereby choice tend to come into play, and it's a hot spot.
Mm.
I can call it that way. It's a hot spot to most. Like, it's a very 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 hot spot. It's a rocket science to most.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where most of the dilemmas tend to happen. Like, what if I choose? What if I take this direction? What if? What if? What about that? What about this? What about you get my point, brother Glody.
Yeah, 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 definitely. I get you. I get you. And the thing is, another thing we have to understand is that synchronicity is another thing that's the oracle actually tells us. Like in life, uh, the oracle in us never gives us, certainty. She will always give us clues, and it's up to us to interpret them and act upon them. You see, so the thing is, choices and being the one that choosing a path to your own life, it requires a very, very, very high level of conscious. Because if you think the choices that you make are the choices that are really coming deep down from your soul level, then you have to question and think about, um have you ever had that oracle moment? Because we always have that moment in our life, but we always ignore it, right?
Absolutely, yeah, big
We always
time, man,
ignore it. We know the truth, but we don't want to, you know,
big time.
accept it. We know that this particular thing is not resonating with our lives, but we still hold on to them because it's things that we learn or know or got caught up in the matrix.
But
So,
but this one also, like, push us to a stretch.
mm,
Why am I saying that? Because we also come to a realization that the choice too is an illusion. The illusion of
yeah,
choice.
Mm.
Because many of the choices we think we are making, we are not. They are based on past trauma, conditioning, or fear.
Exactly.
And this one is a real big time notion that applies to many. Because most choices, 98% of the population of this planet Earth, we are making choices
Yeah.
based on past trauma, conditioning, or fear.
Exactly.
Just because
Exactly.
the parents, uh, they're gonna react in a certain way, so you have to make certain kind of choices to avoid certain kind of reactions.
Yeah.
So generations after generations, grandma did this, I'm gonna do that as well.
Mm.
Her grandma too did that, so I'll be doing the same thing as well. Cause it's a programming, conditioning, and fear, as if you gonna make choices
Yeah.
opposite or different from what's being done so far down the road.
Mm.
So fear's gonna strike in now. So like a lot of questions. What if I make this choice? Ah,
Mm.
nah, they're gonna abandon me. Ah, shit, they're gonna cut me off. Ah, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
blackballed. Oh shit, I'm gonna be blacklisted. Oh wow, the society gonna consider me this. Society gonna consider me that.
Yeah.
So uh, the illusion of choice, brother Glory.
Mm. So, yeah, I think you say something very important. The illusion of choice. If we really have to, uh, how can I say, if we really have to get down on it and like go deep into this concept, it's sometimes it can get very sad because people end up losing their lives or losing what is truly important for them, um, just by not being aware. Because remember, um, the oracle in the movie helps Neil to see that true choices only happens when you're very much aware. And that takes me back of what I just said earlier on about being conscious about, um, if you want to make really 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 uh, actual choice, to choose what truly matters for you, you have to be aware, you have to be conscious. You cannot choose if you're not aware. The only time you choose and regret afterwards, you have to, it's a clue already that to tell you that you're not living, you're not the pilot of your own life. Somebody else is leading your life subconsciously, you know so it's very important to understand that,
It's
you know
very deep.
yeah, it's very important to really understand that. Until then, you're just reacting. It's like program running in it's running its code in your brain, in your mind. It's just like in the movie The Matrix.
Yeah, but it's like for instance, think of those moments in your life, in your own life, where you thought like you were choosing freely, but
Yeah.
later realized that you were just following an old pattern. Have
Mm.
you ever faced those kind of moments, Glody? You make a certain choice. For instance, okay, now I choose to just take science course. Okay, I just choose to go and study
Mm.
medicines, let's say. Or part of me will be believing as if like, oh, all right, I'm I solemnly and I sincerely believe like I'm choosing this freely.
Yeah.
But later on down the road, after some years, you gonna be like, oh, wait a minute. So I was just following an old pattern all along, just because my grandpa, my dad, I've been raised in such kind of environment, and I've been hearing these things over and over again. Therefore, I just found myself in an old pattern of making choices.
Yeah.
So Things like that explains as to how past trauma conditioning can like
Yeah,
contribute a lot into these kind of spectrum, because spiritual awakening is about learning to make choices consciously, just like Brother Glody stipulated on that one,
yeah, yeah,
not just by default, because most cases in this world of today, Brother Glody, especially these Generation Z,
mm,
they're making choices just by default.
yeah,
Just like you said, Google Chrome on a computer, and you set it by default, so everything automatically will be just operating by default.
yeah, yeah,
Same thing with these motherfuckers, the Generation Z right now. So they better hear this so they can be aware.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
there's a certain way of making choices consciously. That way you gonna differ so much. The gap gonna be huge by those who are making choices by default.
Mm, mm, yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, being we can talk about the choices all day long. I mean, it's a very big history of on its own. You know, it's a very big history on its own. But here's the thing. Um, choices that most of us actually just to recall back in my own awakening journey, like things that I know now and looking back at things that I didn't know, it's pretty much scary in terms of where I should have ended if I didn't do or if I didn't choose what I chose based on my conscious, based on me being conscious, not just based on following patterns. So hence I said it can get scary, but it's reality. It is what it is. That's the true meaning of Zion. You know,
Yeah,
there is chaos, there is manipulation, but there is freedom of choice and freedom um of creating. So that is very important. And it's very much it's just so powerful. But here's another thing, brother Tony, I wanted to emphasize in the terms of the oracle's role in our awakening journey. The
oh yeah,
oracle, remember, the oracle is not telling us the truth. You know, she's only revealing who you are becoming.
absolutely.
She's
And
only
yeah, and her role is similar to that of a mentor, a life coach. I can call it, or a guide.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
not someone who saves you, but someone who reflects your potential.
Yeah, as for myself, I
Mm,
can totally relate to that because
absolutely.
I'm a life coach myself, and our job is to not trying to feed you information that will lead you in a direction that is not uh uh purposeful. So I will try my best to try and unleash your potential, to show you, not to unleash your potential, but to show you the best possible direction to go in order to find your life purpose or to find your goal or to achieve a specific reason or whatever that you can call, whatever you may call it. So I will guide you in a way that's not gonna be biased or not based on what I think or based on what I believe, but based on what you are meant to believe. And that is the same purpose and role of the oracle in the Matrix movie. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like some kind of applies is in same way in ancient traditions, oracles were part of the initiation process.
Yeah.
You see, you had to pass through their wisdom before you could transform.
Yeah.
Yeah, because transformation requires certain kind of wisdom. You can't transform without attaining certain wisdom, brother Glody.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
and that's exactly what Neo does. He meets the
Yeah.
oracle, and then everything starts shifting. But
Yeah,
not because she told him what to do, because she helped him see it.
of course, of course.
And that's where the life coach and all
Mm,
spiritual guides pertaining to that one. That's how the operations and everything relates to this one.
mm.
It's to reflect.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I always say, wisdom is wisdom is knowledge gained through information.
Hmm.
So that information, if you break that word down, information, you are in the process of forming a particular outcome or reality in your journey. So knowledge is what you're gaining through that process, and it's what we call wisdom, because then you are aware of the path, you are aware of each and every aspect of that particular situation, you know. So that's the same exact thing, uh when Neo, meets the Oracle, and then everything starts shifting, but not because the Oracle told Neo what to do, but because she only helped him to see the true inner self, you know, of who Neo really was.
Absolutely.
So this is very important and very powerful. Just some interaction in the chat. How's it going in the chat? Anybody in the chat can leave a comment, subscribe, share the live with your friends and family, because this is a very important show. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to explore.
There's a
Very,
lot
very,
to
very,
talk about.
you know, such a very powerful time that we live in. You know, I mean, being able to stream this live in this time alive, in this time around,
Great
is
time
such a
to be
privilege.
alive.
Such privilege. So in the link below, we have in the description below, in the link below, in the description below, we have some links there that you can benefit from. We have still the exclusive access to our upcoming community, is still open for free. Feel free to click the link in the in the description. It's gonna lead you to the website where you can now be on the waiting list as we're launching this powerful community. And there's a link to my book as well in the bio if you feel like you want to mentally raise your vibration and mentally strengthen your mind. You really need my book, Mental Toughness, Unbreakable Mind. It's available on Take a Lot if you're in South Africa, and it's available on Amazon if you are out there anywhere else, hundreds, thousands of kilometers away from me. So, with that being said, Brother Tony, do you have anything else that we can say before we leave? Because we're coming to an end. Um, yeah. Anything else that you would like to share last for the audience? If nothing, but yeah,
Yeah. I'll be glad to see you on the next one, chat.
yeah, definitely,
Be glad
definitely.
to see you on the next one.
Yeah, but
Buckle
before we
up,
go,
buckle up.
yeah, definitely. Before we go, just a couple of things. Um, So tonight, as you guys uh, were present, we spoke about the oracle and uh, the aspect of our character and how it relates to our life. She's a symbol of the voice um, inside of us that always screams, but we never pay attention to it. She's the sign of that intuition. So from now, what you can take away from this is that always follow intuition, always be present, always be aware, strive to be conscious, strive to make conscious decision in your daily life. When you're about to do something, ask yourself, is this thing really matters to my long-term goal, or is this thing that I'm doing now will benefit my next 2 3 minutes to come? So be conscious of your life, be conscious of your decision, and you will live in the Zion. Or if not, you still stay in the matrix, you'll be stuck in the matrix. So here's your homework as usual. Ask yourself, do you believe in faith or free will? That is your homework. Number two, have you ever ignored your intuition and regretted it? Thirdly, what's your inner oracle been trying to tell you all along and you've been ignoring her? You know. So that's what we have for you guys today in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We are about to get off the chat, but I mean, if there are still things to talk about, we can still go on and on. The chat, if you are in the chat, you can give us things to stay on. But doesn't mean that we don't have anything else to say regarding the
Mm.
Matrix. There's a lot that we can say because we're just trying to keep it. We don't want to throw all the rocks at you now. So
Yeah, 'cause even the baby, she can't, a baby can't just breastfeed all the goddamn milk of the mother right there. The mother can get dry.
yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, but now with that being said, um, brother Tony, do you have anything that we can let the chat know, or any kind of announcement that I missed, or anything important? If not, then that's totally fine. Um,
Yeah, they must just keep locked in. Keep locked in.
mm,
Cool stuff is coming. More episodes, more insights, more decoding.
mm,
Just keep locked in. Buckle up.
definitely. So, uh, I wanted to do something very special for the chat. I wanted to give you guys some kind of motivation that can relate to the matrix, to what we discussed today. But I think I can't find my notes. I wrote it somewhere, but I can't find it. But anyway, maybe I'll share with you guys next one on the next one. So you better come back. You better be here next time. Don't miss it. And yeah, exciting, very exciting. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your support. You know, as usual, subscribe, leave a comment, share, like, and this will help the message continue to grow and reach more people. Um, so
Obrigado, arigato gozaimashita.
wow, what is that, man?
Yeah, that's Japanese, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Do you have some Japanese guys in the chat? No, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
we
If
do
you
have
have,
obrigado. We have Portuguese. Shout out
yeah,
for all the Portuguese chat. Shout out to all my Japanese guys. Arigato,
yeah,
obrigado, gracias. My Spanish. Sante sana, my Kenyans.
yeah,
Shukriya, my Indians.
yeah.
Yeah, buckle up.
Definitely. We appreciate your support, guys, and um, so tomorrow make sure you tune in tomorrow. You come in because tomorrow is gonna be another special stream. It's gonna be another special um uh session, and you don't want to miss it. It's gonna be a very powerful one. And yeah, guys. So let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's keep on learning. Let's keep on exploring. Let's keep on growing.
It's gonna be
Right.
lit. It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be late. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be late. It's gonna be late. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and we shall see you in the next one.
Alamsik.
For now, appreciate you. Bye bye.